Alright, so you're taking your dog to the park, or you're training with them, or whatever, and they know that they're about to have some really fun time. Now you add on top of that a ball, which is a context cue for we're going to have some really fun time. That is twice the arousal levels that you need. The dog already has an expectation of playtime. Now you have the ball, which is a reminder the entire walk that we're going to have playtime. So part of what makes your dog get more excited is they have this expectation that we're about to go play this fun game, and they're reminded the entire time. They're also allowed to play on the walk, get amped up, and then once you finish the walk, you confirm their expectations by playing a lot, probably. So your dog's expectation are that we are going to the park, so they get excited. And instead of training the transition to the park, we just focus on getting to the park, getting there. But transitions are really important, especially for a dog that is really excited, and that already has an expectation. He knows exactly what's going on. So you can do a few things. One, take away some of the expectation, take away some of the context clues. You can walk your path to the park multiple times a day and maybe not go to the park after that walk. So you don't meet that expectation. It becomes less reliable. The dog suddenly doesn't really know, are we going to the park or are we not? Another thing you can do is remove the context of the ball as well. Before he came out of the car, I hid the ball in a pocket behind me. He didn't see me hide it, okay? If I took it out and I hid it, he would be fixated on the fact that I have the ball. He'd be taking treats maybe, but his mind would be stuck on the ball. So I want to make sure that I have the ball, but not in a place the dog can see, and put it in a place, in a pocket on me without the dog seeing me do that for now. Okay, we want to manage some of this as well. Then I want to make sure that our walk is going to be under control. So I'm not going to be dropping the leash at this point. You can have your dog on a 6 to 12 foot line, but you're going to have them on a leash, and you're going to be feeding pretty frequently for the behavior you want. Your dog's not going to intuitively understand that, you know, you want them to walk under control, calmly on a given side, out of your way. It's just not instinctual, especially for a herding dog. They're going to want to get in front of you. They're going to want to push you around. They're going to fixate on your movement. So we need to make sure we're setting a clear picture of what is expected on the walk. And in order to do that, you're going to have them on leash initially. Bring high-value treats. I'm feeding cheese right now, just little pieces of cheese stick. He really likes cheese, but if your dog is really into beef or meatballs or hot dogs, you're going to use that. You're going to use little bite-sized pieces also, like this. I've got dog spit on me already. He has a tendency to not swallow, so I try to use, not chew, so I have to use kind of soft treats so that he's not choking constantly, but it still happens. So your first step is, can my dog eat? So get to the start of your path. You know, whether it's the front door that signals we're going to the park, or maybe you get to a trailhead and your dog goes, oh shoot, we're going to the park. Wherever the start of the context is, where your dog gets excited, that's where we're going to start and see, can you eat? That's number one. If they can eat, then I'm going to see, can you offer an easy behavior? Eye contact is a good one. Sit is a good one. If they can offer a behavior, see if you can ask for a behavior. So I'm going to do those 3 steps real quick in front of the camera. Alright, so simple behaviors are go. He's eating nicely. He's not taking the treats too hard. If your dog is not taking treats, you can experiment with some different treats, but then they're still not taking treats, this is where you need to start. And I wouldn't even focus on going to the park at that point if your dog is so amped up that they can't take treats that are really, really yummy. So my next objective, he can do simple treats or simple tricks and take treats while stationary. Can he do it while moving? So I'm going to see, can we move a step? Only one step. Can he look at me? I'm going to treat him. I'm not going to try to do 5, 6, 10 steps, because at that point, if I have a herder dog, they might start to try some of those bad tendencies that we're not looking for. So literally, I'm going to just see if I can do a step. If a step is going well, I'm going to alternate between 1 and 3 steps to begin with. I'm also going to feed where I want my dog to be. So if I don't want him to be tripping me up and right on top of me, I'm not going to be feeding right here on my body where he has to get really close to me to get the treat. I might feed a little wide if my dog is known to invade my personal space. I might even toss the treat away from me. I'm going to talk about alternatives if this is something that jacks your dog up, but we're going to show this for just a moment. Can you fix it? Good boy. Yes. If feeding your dog from your hand like this, or tossing the treat is too exciting, you can also place the treat on the ground. And I want to make sure that I'm very clear about that. You're not dropping it, you are placing it. So I'll show what that looks like as well. Sit. Here, good boy. Okay. We had to get out of the way of one car, but hopefully that was obvious. So, how you're going to be doing this and juggling the treats, the leash, and all that stuff, make sure you have somewhere that you can stash your ball out of sight. So maybe bring along a bag or a backpack. I have a treat pouch, but for very quick treating, because I'm assuming the dog needs to have a high rate of reinforcement, I'm stashing the treats, and for me it's a cheese stick, in the opposite side that my dog is on. So he's on my left, my treats are stashed, my leash is being held on my right side. I'm folding the leash, not wrapping it, for safety if my dog starts getting tangled up. This is a very secure and strong way to hold your leash, but you can also let go immediately if you need to. If you're wrapping it around your hand, you can't do that. So I have my treat stash, and every time I want to reward him, I can take some and feed him accordingly. Good job. If at any point he stops taking food, stops paying attention to me, I stick around that area until he can handle it a little bit better. So if I was walking down this road and trying to get to my destination, if at any point I got to a place that was closer, or a point that was more exciting or whatever, and he stopped taking treats or he started getting pushy again, I would turn around and maybe work in that area until he has a better reaction. If it's not getting better, honestly, the best course of action, turn around, go back to a point where he did well, work that for a second, and quit. Or if things are really degrading, quit. You might feel disappointed that you didn't take your dog to the park, but that's not the point here. The point is to have a successful interaction with your dog, make sure that they have expended some energy, and not built up any bad habits. And I think if you work on this and focus on this, that will be accomplished.